And we are broadcasting through to Fun City Radio and Bay Hill News Network.
Good morning, everyone. It's the Praise Life Morning Show.
For the best listening experience, please download our sprlivefm.com app from either the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You will not only experience our radio, but SPR, TV, and live chat.
directors who are navigating the spaces and making the films. So I'm looking at what sort of mistakes do they make in the process of getting these monies, and what sort of spaces do they also try and navigate, to meet the demands that comes with the money that they get. And I'm also looking at the opportunities that they're creating, future opportunities that they're creating. And lastly, I'm also trying to document what it means to be a Black director in this contemporary South Africa. So I think it's important for the future filmmakers who will be coming in to read on what these directors have achieved so that they can step in and do something different. Thank you.
Wow. It's a lot of work. That is. It's a lot of work. I often want, God don't make mistake in the sense that he has allowed us to be born in different parts of the world, right? I was born in South America. You were born in Africa, period. And the challenges that you guys have gone through compared to the challenges that I have gone through, it's your stuff is like, I don't know if I'll be alive if I was around. I might be one of those guys who be
alive.
I don't know if I will be, because I'll be the one to fight.
I was born in South America too, and I can kind of relate to what Clearman is saying. If we look at it from our perspective, we were birthed. Although we had struggles, it does not even begin to compare to what you guys went through and what your ancestors may have gone through, and the things what you're doing now to get your generation higher. It's can't compare. Just can't compare, because we thought that we had things difficult until we start meeting people outside of what we grew up in and realize just how difficult to acquire something what we would think is simple, like the information you're trying to gather. And it's definitely some hard work that you're doing, because you got to fight against the struggle just to get what you need. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Somebody asked the question, how are you gathering your data to ensure the work continues?
Okay, so like in terms of gathering the data, I have decided to take the action research methodology, where I will do both the qualitative and quantitative. But what I would do is I am also part of the study, meaning that I go to where the filmmakers are. I document their experiences, whether they will be shooting films or whether they are through to post-production, or whether they are, just starting off with the, research and development, where they are starting with the script and they are looking for funds. So the selected filmmakers, then become part of my experience. Because if they are not part of my experience and I'm just writing from, I think this is it, and I'm writing from what everybody has written, just collecting the information, obviously, from journals and all of that. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to do that. I am, but I think what's going to be enough is if I bring something new to the table, and I think that's what makes it exciting, because that's what doctorates, studying for a PhD or a doctorate is all about, bringing something new or novel to the table. So what I'm doing is I'm literally going to follow these filmmakers, and, I'm hoping that at the end, I will have a documentary, that goes with the study. Thank you. I hope I have answered.
Yes, you did. You did quite clearly. Quite clear. Now, you said you're going to follow the filmmakers. Is it just in South Africa or worldwide?
No. Like, then if I'm doing worldwide, it will take me more than 20 years to finish. And you're only given 3 years to finish. So I only have like a select few. So I've selected 10 filmmakers, and the 10 filmmakers are the ones that I'm going to follow around. And they're the ones that I'm going to be writing about. And they're the ones that are going to give us like a window, for another person to come in and say, okay, if she's done 10, then let me look at the other 10 as well. So what we'll do is we'll have a thread, or what I want to term, sustainability factor, where our history is recorded because we're becoming aware and we want to ensure that happens, and as it happens, we get to preserve history. Thank you.
You spoke about funding and unable to get funding. In your own reasoning and understanding, why do you think that is a hindrance for, or is it just for Blacks, or is it right across the board?
Well, I think funding has always been a problem, and it's not just a Black problem, it's right across board. But obviously, I will speak from the Black experience, and I'm not dismissing that funding is a problem for others. But where I come from, we have a situation where others have benefited from apartheid, and Black people have not benefited from apartheid. As a result, we have what we call trust fund babies. So trust fund babies are those who have a legacy of apartheid that still supports them. And whether they want to admit it or not, they still have money as a result of what their grandmother or the great-grandmothers did, where they saved using an old system that allowed them to, as a, just as a beneficiary of color, so their color as white people allowed them to do that. So they tend to make movies because they have money to make the movies. But with Black people, they don't have any trust, they don't have anything, and yet they have a need, this will to tell stories. So what do? You then have to go to a trust fund baby who has an idea of how they want to tell the story that you have brought to the table, and renegotiate that space where they don't feel, they don't feel, how do you call it?
Threatened?
Not threatened per se. They don't feel like they are being abused in the process, because that's what they say. Oh, apartheid happened so long ago. We don't have to talk about it if you're talking about an apartheid story. Or you don't have to represent them in this way. Maybe we can try this way. They are negotiating. And you, as a filmmaker, you have to say, okay, I will. So that's why you have, in a lot of South African movies, especially about apartheid, you have a situation where you have a good cop and a bad cop. So if you have a bad white cop, you will also have a good white cop, to cover the two, that not all white South Africans were bad, even during apartheid. And I find that very strange, because the minute you choose apartheid, you are already bad. There's no way that
it's true.
When you will say, oh no, I am not bad, So, I mean, this is the same with the situation where you were asking, because I listened to that interview with Demetria, where you were asking, Demetria, about xenophobia. I mean, for me as a South African, I can't say, oh, well, it happened in some other part of the country. It happened, and it happened in a country, and this country is called South Africa, and we should be held accountable for what has happened. It should not be a case of, oh, no, I don't know about it. She cannot, speak on it because she does not belong in that community. But if I am just going to come and say to you, oh no, I don't know about it, I would be ignorant, and also I'll be portraying a country that has committed that crime, if you know what I mean. So it's the same thing. When you have money, you are able to control the discourse, you're able to control how we should, or how the situation should be. And that's what's happening. And that's what I'm trying to document. How filmmakers have to rely on foundations. They have to rely on grants. They even have to rely on private funders. And these private funders, they're bringing on the table what they need, they need their discourse to be a certain way. And as a filmmaker, you have to negotiate that space all the time to tell the movie that you want to tell. So I hope that I have expanded on that because it's a very serious problem.
It is from listening to what you're saying. My thing is though, how can, because I know this seems to be a universal problem when it comes to black folks, period, or African folks. We don't work together.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that is a serious problem. I do not know where to start, but for us as South African, yes, I can speak. I can't speak for other blacks. I can speak from my own experience as a black person living in a country called South Africa, where I have seen this happen over and over again. But I think that has happened because we have not had enough opportunities. So when you get an opportunity to know about a certain thing, you tend to want to grab it and keep it because you don't think that opportunity is going to come again. And as a result, other people tend not to have the opportunity because you're grabbing all these opportunities thinking, well, if I share what happens of me, I am not going to have enough. And that is what's happening.
Wow. I know you said you can't speak of other folks around, other black folks around. It's the same thing with us. Wherever you go, we and this is part and parcel to do with what slavery has done or what apartheid has done to us, divide and conquer. And we believe that if we fight against ourselves, that it's doing a good thing, but it's all coming as a united body to make a difference, from the standpoint of not having the funding that you need. Now, in on an average, because I think I remember hearing you talking about a particular film or documentary that was made that was not accurate, and I was thinking of a movie that I saw with this young lady born to I think she was born to white parents, but she came out looking black. She's older now. It was based on a true story, and the struggles that she went through. She was pretending to be white all this time, and then suddenly found out that she had black in her, and she looks more black than white. And the white couple was trying to figure out how this happened. I just thought was one of the most. When I was looking at it, I said, God, you're amazing because you played one of the most funniest tricks on our people. Here's a white couple birth a black child, which tells you of their generation, where they came from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember the name of the movie right now. I think Lou something. You probably heard of her story too. You probably know.
We have something similar. It's called Skin. It's a movie. It's almost similar. It's a South African movie as well.
Was it with the white woman? I mean, the black woman and she had a story to end. I think that's the movie Skin, is it? Skin is the name of it? Yeah. I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, wow. But this is a common thing that is happening. Listen, we got to talk some more, but before I let you go, on Sunday evening at the final gala, you were telling me a little bit about your dad. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, well, what happened is I'm not the only one in SA. I think many families suffered as a result of apartheid. Like I did not just lose my dad, who just disappeared. He went to work like everybody would go to work, and he's never come back to this day. So you leave just wondering and thinking, sometimes when you see someone tall, you're like, this could be him, and then you realize, oh no, he must be old by now, because by now my dad would be 67, and I don't even know how it feels like to mourn sometimes because they took that away from me. But I am able to mourn as well because what they also did is they shot my uncle. And, we were there when we woke up and he was lying in the pool of blood, So that somehow, made us feel how it feels like to lose someone because we had an uncle that was killed as a result of apartheid, So these are some of the challenges. I mean, I remember this one time when I was working on this program called Our Moments, where this lady, I mean, I nearly recused myself from the show as a researcher because this lady, says to me, I still have my son's hair. I mean, his son just left one day after she had just cut the hair and he never came back. And she still had the hair. And that was the most painful thing because in as much as, my dad was my dad, I know that my mom suffered more because she lost her husband, and my grandmother suffered more because she lost her son, So, and here I was, listening to this woman crying, and it'd been more than 20 years, and she was still crying and saying that the only thing that I remember is that I was cutting my son's hair, and I'm still waiting for them to tell me the truth of where they buried my son so I can exhume him and go and bury him with his people. So that was really painful. It was really painful to watch. So yeah, this is like the history, that I come from. And I've come to understand that if I don't get over it, I will constantly suffer, so I'm not going to have self-pity over a history that I didn't create and over a country that I didn't ask to be born in. So what I will do is I will appreciate the little moments and the lessons and, just move on and know that at least it's not going to happen again in my lifetime. And that's what I'm going to fight for by ensuring that other people know about it and by ensuring that we tell stories that remind us of the atrocities that happened, and also ensuring that we start going to school, educate ourselves, and also record and preserve history for the generation to come so they don't have to ever repeat what happened,
Final question. And I know, I'm sorry, Fati, it's just that I have all these questions in my head.
I already knew how it would go, so it's all right. It's
final
all right.
question. Do you guys, or are you allowed to get foreign support, financial support?
Well, we are, but you mentioned something profound and highly interesting when you said, so what happens then with the funding and how difficult it is? So you find that there are only a few people who know about the international funding or funding from outside, and they don't share that information. So they just sit, with their contacts collecting cobwebs, and they do not share those information.
Are you talking about
yeah,
Black Africans?
Yeah. I'm talking about Black, not Africans. Like I said, I'm not going to speak for all the Africans. I'm going to speak on behalf of South Africans because I know this happens and I know it has happened to me, and I'm speaking from experience. I know people get funding outside, but they don't share. They get funding for themselves, but they don't share. So as a result, other filmmakers end up not making films because they don't have access. So it's all about access. They only a few people have access, and when they have that access, they don't share. And that is a serious challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, coming to TANIF, do you think that would be like an open door for a lot of the movie makers? Like, I mean, how did you hear about TANIF?
Well, we have like different groups, obviously, on WhatsApp, and that's where you meet different filmmakers from the diaspora, and that's when I heard about TINF, and our colleagues decided that they're going to join in, and they're going to come, and it has opened a lot of doors as well. We have met possible co-producers, we have met possible stakeholders, and possible partners that we can partner with in our future feature films and documentaries. So in Canada and South Africa, they have a co-production treaty, and that treaty has been going on for a while, but I haven't seen much of the films being produced, and I think that is as a result of us not coming into spaces that TJ has managed to create, where we find different filmmakers from different backgrounds coming together and meeting up and trying to create opportunities for themselves. And I think TINF allows us to do that. So I'm really grateful that I was part of this year, the 2023 package, in a way where I've come to meet even filmmakers from Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe is not far from us, but we had to come all the way to meet each other here. We met filmmakers from as far as, like you said, South America. We met filmmakers from Asia. We met filmmakers from Nigeria, from America. All these filmmakers, it's very hard to get them in one setting. And to be able to do that, it's a high privilege. So we're really grateful for the opportunity that TINF has given us.
Well, I don't know how much we can do. We're a radio station. We're now venturing. And this was the first time coming, and this is through our sponsor, Zoe Records, which is Isaac. And so we're happy to meet you guys, and you can spread the word. If we would love to talk to some more of your filmmakers and what they're doing and their experiences as well. You can let them know, contact us, and definitely our team will set the stage up for you guys so you can actually share your story.
Problem.
Okay,
no problem. We will do that. I think what you're doing is really amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And if there's any support or any kind of support that we can do, I think we should. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, and looking forward to talking with you some more. I'd love to hear when you finish your documentary. We would love to talk about it, as well as Dimitri. We'd like to talk to her some more as well. Tell the others, they know how to find us. You got our information. Make sure you reach out to us. Thank you once again for your time.
No problem.
Thank you for being here.
Me. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a great co-host. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you, and we shall talk to you soon.
Take care.
No problem. Bye-bye. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
For the best listening experience, please download our sprlivefm.com app from either the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You will not only experience our radio, but SPR, TV, and live chat.